Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, and I'm gonna be hanging out and just doing some painting for the next hour and a half or so. I thought I'd flip on the camera and hang out with you a bit. In case you were wondering where the videos have been, I'm working on a bunch of stuff in the background of things I cannot share yet, but I was able to get outside and enjoy the sunshine a little bit yesterday and actually prime some models for the first time in a bit. It's been too muggy. And so what I was able to prime was a bunch of stuff I can't show, but also a bunch of Warmachine and Hordes models that I was sent by awesome viewer Robin Mankiller. And so, I don't know, the announcement of Steamforged Games buying all the Privateer Press properties regarding the Iron Kingdoms got me really excited, and I'm just happy to paint pigs. I have my Pharaoh army here. So I'm happy to talk about any game system you guys want to. I'll be painting these, and we can start chatting about, I don't know, we got a bunch of stuff running on the pipeline. We got Age of Sigmar launch. Vince Ventrella just launched a new game called Death Wizards. I just got my copy in, so I haven't really looked at it too closely, but I'll be doing that very soon. I want to show off, let's see here. So I have my big pig with his double axes. If you guys don't know, basically Warmachine Hordes is like a steampunk fantasy. It was a big miniatures game in like the 2000s, 2010s, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was really great. Let's see. And then if I slide this box over, you can see the rest of the pig party. So I love the Pharaoh army because they're somewhere between orcs from like 40k, where they can like be severed and like stitched back together or whatever. There's some light comedy elements, but they're also just like gross man pigs. And yeah, I love it. Anyway, so I got a bunch of these boys. I am going to get back into painting these guys with something fun, so we will start with this guy here. So put these guys off to the side. I would love to know what everybody else is working on if you are painting anything. I'm going to start with some dark flesh tones here. And for that we need Bugman's Glow. Shouldn't need a ton. I mean, obviously I painted it kind of a fur brown. This is actually, yeah, the fur brown P3 paint, if I recall correctly. I didn't know about the Iron Kingdoms getting bought. Yeah, actually, I bought up the article. I'm just mixing paint here, so let me do this while I chat. Basically, if you go to the Steamforged Games site, they have two articles that are of import right now. The first one being called the Manifesto, which is essentially them saying, hi, we're Steamforged Games, we bought this IP, but don't worry about it, we're really excited about Warmachine and Hordes. The game's not drastically changing balance-wise or whatever. People really seem to love 4th edition. And so, essentially they leaned in and said, like, really what we're going to focus on is the production, manufacturing, and distribution, and engaging with content creators and stuff, which perked my ears up, and I definitely sent them an email already. Because if you don't know, this is the game system that I got into wargaming on. I know I've said that a lot, but, you know, there's always somebody new every time. It was 2011. I graduated college, and I needed a hobby. I started painting World War II figurines, because I remember liking models when I was a kid. And then one time, while searching for a painting tutorial, I stumbled across what I later to know to be one of the Rulik, basically their version of dwarves, one of their machines, one of their steampunk constructs called the Gun Bunny, or generally called the Gun Bunny. And I was like, I need to know more about that thing, because that looks rad. And so that's how I started learning about it. My first army was Sigmar. I think the last thing I collected meaningfully was Circle Ouroboros. But then I saw that Age of Sigmar had launched. It was right in that window, 2015. And I was like, I like that. So I went over, because there was no points and no competition. Let's see. So anyway, yes, they have a vision about an article about their vision for the game. And then the other one of note is they migrated the store. So if you want to buy Warmachine stuff now it's all on Steamforged. And basically they do a really great thing that I think every company should do, where they kind of broadcast any updates to their release schedule. If you had any orders, basically they're taking like a quarter to consolidate and make sure everybody's happy and stuff like that, is what seems to be the basic idea. And I applaud them for that, right? Take your time, work with what you have, and then we can start talking about growth or whatever. But I'm super stoked for them. Could not be more stoked. Let's see. Got some gunmetal here. Working on the old Snotling pump wagon. Nice! Super Muffin just dropping in to tell you that you're the... Oh, thank you so much. Keep rocking. Best wishes from Big Fan in Sweden. Well, thank you so much. Nikki! Hey Doug, happy to make it to a live stream. All my friends know your channel because of my ranting. Peace from Belgium. Well, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Yes, I am this is kind of my lull period. As I said when I kicked off the stream, I have a bunch of stuff that I'm working on that I can't talk about yet, but I'm very excited to. And what a great way to fill time, just hanging out and painting random stuff that has been in my closet quite a while now. It's a good time for all of those kinds of projects, you know? But I'm so excited to jump into content. Regarding this, and also AOS. Basically everything. If you follow the vibe of the channel, you know I'm basically just happy to be here, and we'll play anything you put in front of me. Bonus points if it's a skirmish game. Oh, speaking of, they, when they announced all the changes to... Not the changes, the changing of ownership, rather, to Steamforged games, I started popping into their Discord, and I was like, guys, I haven't played since 2nd edition. Give me the rundown. And some guys did a really great job. And one of the things they had said was points had been increased, meaning fewer models because stuff costs more, right? So armies are smaller when the points go up. And you know, I didn't think too much of that. I was like, okay, that's cool. Makes it a little bit more accessible. I didn't realize, like, it was almost cut in half. Like, you don't need to have much to play a full game. I was like, oh, snap, that's awesome. So anyway, I pulled everything out, did all the math, and it turns out, just kind of in my spare model bin that I was keeping these guys for a side project, I have an entire Feral army, like, complete every single thing. It's like, oh, okay. Well, we'll go ahead and call that a removed barrier to entry. Let's see. Sand Pirate, have to give him a look later. Gotta finish painting my spooky knights and skeletons. Nice. Hey Doug, hope you're doing well. I'm not really into Warmachine. Both it and Steamforged have always had a stigma around it in my eyes. But I'm very to hang out and chat. Oh yeah, and I'm happy to chat about AOS as well if anyone's more interested in that. Ask a question if you got a topic. I just got the bug to paint, and I have rules about what I can paint right now. Let's see. Scrape these guys out. So many pipes and stuff. They have a leader of their army. So basically, you choose. They call it your warcaster, and that's like the leader of your force who kind of like distributes magic power and is a big spellcaster or whatever. Really cool stuff. Anyway, one of the things that I love about this is these pig guys have one where he is essentially a mix of Dr. Frankenstein and Dr. Moreau, if you're familiar with that character. So he's just stapling everything together, right? It's not even about like making a human to be like the next god making Adam. He's just like duct taping all kinds of animals together, and he makes these kinds of creations. There used to be, not anymore, but there used to be another Warcaster leader available to their army that was like 2 pigs stitched together, and their names were Storm and Drang. And it was, I don't know, just stuff like that where it's like, oh man, he made another Warcaster for him. That's awesome. They were super fun because you had to choose what personality would be dominant per round. So it was kind of like having 2, but they were kind of subdued or good at specific things. I have a question. Have you seen the Lumineth faction focus? I saw that it came out, but I have not taken the time to really deep read it. Is there a thing you'd like to chat about? Because if I know where I'm looking, I'm happy to pull it up. But I know that one was released. How about that? Put him down. Give my hand a break because holding a massive hunk of metal. This guy's made of metal, by the way. Is kind of giving me the cramp here. Let's see here. Let me pull up the Games Workshop site. Oh, wait, Warhammer Community. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, Soulbuck Gravelords is today. Cool. Lumineth, here we go. Yep. Unwanted Babies of Teclis. Okay. Just thought you'd be interested in knowing the complexity went way down with them. That seems to be a running theme, and I'm very happy about it. Let's see. Lumineth Realm Lords can use the following abilities. Do not use the Facet of War abilities. This is a lot of text. Okay, but you're saying it's simplified, so let's see. Passive. One player fight units. When it's your turn to pick, you can pick 2 units instead of 1. I hate that, but I understand that it's carried over. Fine. That's the TLDR. Anything else I add would be gushing about how cool you think the changes are. Okay. There's a reaction emoji on my Streamlabs thing that covers up the word cool, so I couldn't tell if it was like how enraged I am, how unhappy, how how cool things are. That's good to hear. Interesting. Okay. Deep thinkers. Very cool. Oh, a 4-up ward on the wall thing. That's nice. I am going to be completely honest with you. These guys have always been a faction that makes my frickin' eyes go crossed. I don't get it. I remember when they sent me the Lumineth box set, when they did that first initial box run. And I was so stoked because I wanted to build the models, and then 2 things happened. One, I saw the literal 3-inch long spear on the spearman, and I was like, no. And then the second thing was that I opened the rule book and my eyes glossed over, and I'm just like, I understand the organizational structure of every kind of like sub-chamber having their own rules and stuff like that. It makes my head hurt. It's a bit too much for me. I'm on the other end where I'm like, Fire Slayers, pick a rule, and everybody gets that for a turn. Like, yes. So, I don't know. Even the other like, I don't know, Flesh Eater Courts is the faction I want to learn, because I not only am I interested, but I also think that they will push me to be a better player. But the level of complexity and stuff that, like, tools in your toolbox for Lumineth and some builds of Idoneth, it's a bit too much for my brain. Because I look at that page and I'm like, oh. Knowing fully well that I also have my own faction page that is full. But when it breaks down, like, unit by unit and what they're allowed to use. I don't know. I guess that's the same in Flesh Eater Courts. Never mind. It just seemed overwhelming. They're just keyword specific. Yeah, and I realize that that's the same for my Flesh Eater Courts, right? They have the Arborant and the Courtier keywords, serfs, and knights. I don't know why it feels different. I don't have a good explanation. It just always seemed overwhelming. Let's see. Oh. Music stopped for some reason. Why? Let's see. So I know the armor plates are going to be red because I already have some guys painted. And beyond that, is there anything else we need to do? Get these bolts. And let's see. Sorry, I got a text here I had to respond to. Is there... kind of lost my part in the conversation. We were talking about rules seeming too complex. I don't know. I look at that rule that says you get to fight twice, and I know it's existed there before, but I think to myself, Flesh Eater Courts, I have to take the Ghoul Patrol to give that to ghouls or hero. I'm like, ghouls want to be in combat. I don't know. But I've been on record that they've never been a faction that really appealed to me. Like, gameplay wise, I talked about that earlier. Everything has such a specific role. Like, I like running forward and smashing. If your cats made war games, what kind would they be? If my cats made war games, Finn is the boy, the long hair. I think that he would make a, I don't know, some version of like a war game version of Monopoly where everybody ends up hating the bank and he just wants to be in control. That's my thought there. Or maybe OG Battletech where it's just Excel sheets, the game. Something like that, just to make you like want to pull your own hair out. Gracie, I feel, would probably be more merciful. She'd probably go with like a My Little Pony skirmish game. She's just the sweetest thing. One where, like, you know, you use the power of friendship to stop the enemy. Or maybe Finn would be the historical wargamer who wears, like, I don't know, the officer's cap and just demands to be called, like, Generalissimo or something. Guys, you get a little too into it. Fantastic question, though. That's fair, Duck. I just thought maybe I could sell you on their new, less complicated direction. I applaud you. I do. And I promise when I'm not streaming and I can like stop and like really read it, I promise I will. Because I am interested. I do feel like just the way that they have been writing the edition has made everything more accessible. And I think that's pretty true army-wide. I can't think of any arm like that is jarringly different than what I expected it to be. But oh yeah, I gotcha. It was clear. No, and I appreciate it. Love to know. We got some answers as to what everybody's working on, but I'd love to know if there's anyone else out there painting. This is... I don't actually know what he's even called, to be perfectly honest with you. From Warmachine and Hordes. He's not... He's not the War Boar, I don't think. What I eventually want to get is their model. If you haven't seen it, look up the Meat Thresher. It's everything the Slanesh man mower wishes it was. And they look like they're having fun while driving it. Again, it's called the Meat Thrasher. One of my favorite models of all time. I can see that a friendly game, where instead of a victory points, it's a friendship meter or something. Oh, for My Little Pony? Yes, that's what I would imagine. I would imagine if I had to visualize a My Little Pony war game, okay? It's cooperative, of course. And you each pick a pony and you have to, like, achieve... I haven't watched the show, so, like, I don't know. You have to achieve something. Like, each character has a little, like, deck of cards. Maybe it's their personal quest list or something. You gotta achieve everybody's thing... And everybody's happy and does friendship together. But cooperative, I don't know. Is there an enemy in My Little Pony? I don't actually know. I watched one episode when I was babysitting. Well, it must have been 8. 7 or 8. My buddy's daughters. I probably know more about it from the Bob's Burgers My Little Pony spoof episode. Like they have like their universe's version. The Equestronauts, that's what it is. And instead of bronies, their universe has Equesticles. So good. I'm gonna go watch that episode tonight. Also, Meat Thresher is a great name. Yes, exactly. Do you have a recipe for painting bone? Haven't painted any bone before? I don't have anything specific. The way that I like to do it is to avoid it as much as possible, and then do Skeleton Horde contrast with Ushabti Bone as a highlight. But that's a very specific kind of bone color. It's kind of like a dusty canary looking thing. Dried bone, I guess, is probably the way that they would describe it. I saw it on a Warcom article forever ago. Been working on Krondus, son of Dracothian. I'm pretty close to a state where I'd consider him done. Just need to finish his armor and base. Nice. Most of my Flesh Eater Court stuff is in a similar place. I just need to do like 1 or 2 highlights on a few things and then basing. I got all the textured basing stuff on all of them, and then I pretty much just paused there because I hadn't quite decided what I wanted to do. We'll see. I have to say, Runelord Brass is probably my favorite GW paint. I love the color. It's just perfect. We're going to come back with a light wash when this is all done. I've always been partial to Morghast Bone. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. That came out like in a later wave of paints, didn't it? I don't know if I've ever actually bought Morghast Bone, but I've seen it used like in the GW tutorials, like on YouTube or whatever. Working on some Hungry Boys. My party has an ogre encounter. Nice. Very cool. You say your party. Is that, you doing Soulbound? Or, I mean, you can obviously use ogre models for D&D, but you know what I mean. Which plane? That down for a sec. We're gonna grab our Retributor gold. What other kind of golds do I have? I also have the Two Thin Coats. Let's do that one instead. That's a little bit darker. Kind of like that. We don't want them to look too clean, do we? Want to see the work in progress? I'm not going to be on my Discord now, but you can if you like. I'm working on some... That's right. Getting hyped for pigs? I am always hyped for pigs. Yes. Once... Varnick, I don't know if you were here earlier, but yes, once I saw that announcement, I got real stoked. Busted out everything I had in my closet, and I was like, oh snap, I actually have like a whole army. I thought I just would be like... You know, maybe it's enough for a demo force or something like that. I could ask if there's anyone local to me who would play, and I put it in, punched it into the army builder, and I was like, oh, snap, okay. I think I ended up buying like a attachment or whatever like that I wanted to fill out the roster with for like $6 or something. What you think of the new Carver? I have not... I mean, rules-wise, I haven't seen anything. The model is fantastic. They basically made him full mecha Godzilla pig. And he's pretty rad. Oh, man. I'm a sucker for all of that stuff, though. That was always the thing. Like, I just... They've always just had a visual, I don't know, thread that I've always loved. Brick red. D&D, I want the Soulbound. Just don't have the time or know anyone who would give another fantasy system a shot. I find that's the biggest problem. Everyone who I've met who has played it has loved it. It's just getting folks to try something different, which, I mean, as a player of a GW game, right? We all understand that. If you want to play literally anything else, it can be real hard to get a group going. Let's see. Hey, Doug, I do have 2 other questions for you. Sure. First, did you see the Cruel Boys faction focus? I think you like they're much better than they were before. And what are your thoughts on the new models? Oh, the new models for, like, what was it called? Skaven Box? Skaven Doom. There we go. No. Skaven Tide? Skaven Tide is the box. Skaven Doom is the event, I think. Okay, we're good. What do I think of them? Oh, I think they're gorgeous. I still feel like if you own Sacrosanct Chamber stuff, you don't need to buy a thing. Because I'm looking at some of those heroes and it's like, okay, so there's a Lord level hero spellcaster. Okay, there's a apprentice or something below them that just does 1 cast, probably. You know, they look a little weaker. There used to be the lady with, like, no mouth or something like that in her mask. You know, you kind of get the same formula. I was like, okay, so still don't see why everything needed to change, but all right. But all in all, they look absolutely wonderful. The new monster for Skaven is absolutely stunning. I hope that Vince Ventrella is very happy with it. But yeah, no, he's a beast. The one I am probably most personally excited for is Tornus. If you guys don't know, Tornus is a character that has been around since the very beginning. He was actually in the first campaign series. He started off as a Lord of Nurgle's forces, and then got struck down by Celestant Prime and Gal Maraz. When he was, upon his death, basically his spirit was taken to Azir, and he became Tornus instead of Torglug, his Nurgle name. Became Tornus the Redeemed, and was, to my knowledge, the first, but not only, Stormcast that was taken from a Chaos champion. Basically, it seems to be, the long story short, is that they kind of waterboarded him and forced him into becoming a Nurgle champion, so he was unwilling and that somewhere deep down was this kernel of a good guy, and Sigmar was like, I see that there, and took him out. So that seems to be the core idea. But he kind of languished. He was a very interesting character because of his unique perspective on Stormcast. And they didn't do much with him, and so I'm glad to see that they are possibly now. Because the others didn't like him. Because he was a chaos guy, right? Like, how many people was Torglug, when he was the Torglug, responsible for killing? I mean, it's whatever, but to question that is to question Sigmar. You can't be doing that stuff, so I don't know. It's just, he posed a very interesting arc, one that characters were redeemable in general, which has not been a Games Workshop staple, just to throw that out there. In my opinion, Nurgle should steal Bastion. Oh, that would be so sweet if they just traded players like the NFL draft. Oh, I'm sorry, that got me good. Vermin Doom is the event. Thank you! You got waterboarded by Nurgle into falling to him. Because of that, he never truly was brought to Nurgle. He convinced himself that Nurgle was right, but still held on to the faintest hope. Yes. And when I say waterboarded, I believe if I'm not mistaken, they dropped him in a Nurgle filth pit, and he arrived like, I don't know, whatever combination of Nurgle's number is, whether it's 7 weeks, 7 years, 7 days, I don't know. He arose as Torglug. I explained Tornus to a friend, and his first question to me, and I'm not joking, is, does he fart? Do Stormcasts fart? I said, why are you asking me that? He said, can you imagine how embarrassing and self-conscious it would be, or how self-conscious you would be and how embarrassing it is, if you were a former Nurgle person and you just like ripped it and it just like stunk everybody out of the entire area. Like, you are now hyper aware of sanitation and smells and all of that simply because you were the bad guy of being stinky, offensively stinky for so long. And I was like, that's a fabulous point. I do not know what his body odor is like, but I can't imagine he eats too many grains. I don't know. And then my friend proceeded to tell me a story about like he was just had a nickname in high school, was just, you know, just made fun of because he was small town, nowhere, and they were all picking on him. But basically, that was his idea of like, his brain went straight to like, I would be so embarrassed. Dropped into a field of pills for 17 days, completely deprived of basically everything until he gave in to Nurgle. Getting the inside of his tabard here. It's coming together. And And I'm not going to highlight the tabard too much because it is in the shadows, but we'll get another dark color on his hoofs and we'll build those up because they're a little bit more out. Is anyone... It's so bad that basically skeletons are walking away. Exactly, yes. Is anyone else concerned about spoilers for Black Talon show? Because I want to say something about Doug's NFL draft comment that would spoil a major reveal in it. I will be perfectly honest with you. I haven't watched it, and I'm not in a massive rush to, but I personally have never been someone who cares about spoilers, so I say let it rip, but if somebody else chimes in and they're like, no, I don't care. I've never been that guy who cares, you know? It's a type, I don't know. Because it doesn't, I guess, it is a bigger spoiler to me to say, wow, for example, we'll take one that's just way, been spoiled for forever. Dumbledore dies at the end, okay? So, it is a bigger spoiler to say to me, wow, they did not pull that scene off at the end, than it is to say Dumbledore dies at the end, because I don't care what the destination is. I don't care that he dies at the end. What I care about is the director taking us through a story and making that death meaningful and a compelling turning point for our hero if it's a part of his hero's journey or something like that. And so, I've never cared because I'm more about the journey. I want to see how the director takes us there. But I know not everyone's like that. Always love these Warmachine pig models, but I only ever collected Scorn, Circle, and Retribution. Hope it gets the love it deserves. Agreed. And that's ultimately what I came down to, too. I was like, man, they wouldn't have bought the property if they didn't have big plans for it, which they've already shown us they have plans for it. But, like, it's a lot of work. And you wouldn't do it for nothing. It's also not a property that you would buy just to let it languish. I super miss Warmachine. I wish the new system didn't have such a... Hold on a second. Donked up movement system. Oh, I have not played it yet. I have not, actually. Once I figured out that I had everything I needed for a whole army, I went onto my local game store Discord and was like, can anyone like give me a demo? And someone was like, I'll do it. Okay, got this. I got some bone color, I'll throw on the jowls. Oh, it just occurred to me his teeth are missing. The model, he's supposed to have a bar of teeth that go up and bring his tusks up, but he's missed. I got these secondhand for free, so I'm not complaining. But honestly, his arm is so jacked up. Some of these older models just don't do well. This is one because his arm is at a weirdly fixed position where his tusks would be a pain, so you have to bend the metal around, and it's like, argh. I won't read it to avoid spoilers for anyone who's listening in, but that's awesome look, man. Okay, now I will have to grab the stitches and the eyes separately because I have to lean in real far and I can't do it with the camera up in my face. I'm feeling pretty good about this guy. He's looking pretty sharp, all things considered. Okay, let's see. I have misplaced all my washes. Okay. Oh man, bummer. Give me 1 sec here. I'm sorry, everybody. This is probably terribly boring, but it's really weird. No. I was looking. I actually have a lot of the what are they called? Army Painter washes, and I really like those quite a bit, actually. I seem to find mine. Oh, found it. Aha! Last place to look. Is this a playlist because I've been enjoying these tunes in the background? Yes, this is the... if you go to Spotify, it's Lo-Fi Covers. And I very much enjoy it and recommend. I always try to have something chill going because I find that I paint much faster and more regularly if I have the camera on, or if I'm painting with somebody like at a hobby shop or something like that. It just tends to go better when you're just chatting and relaxing rather than sitting in silence or contemplative, you know. Some people just go into like this deep meditative state when they paint. I'm just like, oh man, I'll fall asleep. Seraphim Sepia. I'm going to do one last little round of final highlights when these is all dry, but it just adds a little warmth in. Being with my wife is more productive than alone? Yeah. What did you think of the Cool Boys article from yesterday? I have not read it. I did. So here's the thing. I actually don't read a lot of the articles as they come out, because I did that for quite a while and it became very overwhelming to me. I felt like, I don't know, I felt like there was too much real estate in my brain being taken up. So I decided to not do that anymore. So I actually haven't been watching the articles all too closely. Once I got my Flesh Eater Court one, I was like, you know what? Everybody else, you figure it out for yourselves. Doug went immediately survival of the fittest. This is my chance to be good at this game for once. Just picking in all of the metal. Going heavier on like the gears and stuff like that to make sure it looks nice and kind of gross and oily. And I'm going to do a big thing of blood red highlights on the top here. Let's see. On spoilers, what did you guys think of Cole finally ascending? Any theory crafting hopes for a model? I have an immense amount of hope. Not so much for launch. Like, I don't expect to see a Cole card in their deck or whatever like the reference cards they have coming out are. Because I expect that everything's going to be like kind of transposed over to 4th, the kind of the way it is. I mean, just for design's sake, right? They were designing this a while ago, so I can't imagine they would integrate that immediately. But I am so excited for him to get a model whenever Corn Book comes out forever from now. I say forever. I don't actually know the order of releases. I just meant like it's not tomorrow, so therefore it's forever. I'm that person. I see. It's looking good. Gonna do. I think it's that time where I need to paint the base black so I can like differentiate him from the base. It's just kind of visually boiling together. Dog knows the roadmap for 4th. Confirmed. Yes, exactly. I don't know what I'm talking about. He must know. Only someone who knows what they're talking about would be that visibly ignorant. Doug must know what he's talking about. No. Was a... Oh, there was a tuft here. I thought that was like a piece of sand. Dang it. I'll come back with a pair of tweezers and rip that out. Yes, that will help, especially with the skin tones. For some reason, the warmth brown of the base was kind of blending into the skin, but this helps it separate a little bit more. So, very helpful. I still haven't fully assembled his Corn Lord version. Very nice. I actually, this is a Privateer Press random model that I have laying around. And it is a Legion of Everblight, like, doggo. Let me see if I can get this to focus better. And I really wanted to find an Aberrant Ghoul King who's standing in the same pose as Korgus, but, like, have this guy at his feet. He's in the same kind of, like, pivoting around the leg. And I'm like, I want a mighty Aberrant of Usherin instead of a mighty Lord of Khorne. So that's why he stays half painted to my Hallowmorn style. I was like, what if they just got a dog? What if the Flesh Eater Courts just, you know, got a dog? All right, friends, Chaboy here needs to dry before I can do too much else with him. And I'm about running out of time. I'm going to go get some water and get to working on some videos. It's going to be kind of quiet here. Oh, the next week or so, maybe. But that is not through a lack of hard work. That is stuff I can't talk about. Anyway, so I got stuff coming up that I'm very excited to jump into. Follow along. I'm going to be doing other painting sessions or just random stuff until 4th, because I am officially out of Flesh Eater Core stuff to paint. So I gotta figure that out. Anyway, friends, I'm so excited for you guys to see what I've been working on and join me for painting stuff, and I hope